Yo, what is up guys, Ghost here, welcome back to another video. So in this one, we're going to be talking about the direction of cosmetics and skins in Battlefield 6. Recently, there was a massive breach of the Battlefield Labs latest client, and by breach, I mean this guy over in China actually managed to create a working emulator that faked an EA server, allowing him to log into the client and get a look at all of the loadouts. So we're talking soldier cosmetics, vehicle loadouts and gadgets, everything that is really available in the build for us to see. Now, this video was floating around on Reddit a few days ago. I'm not sure if it was being taken down, but I'm sure many of you will have seen it. Obviously, I'm not going to show it here, but I did want to talk about some of those things that we saw in the video, as it does look pretty promising, and it seems that DICE are indeed heading in the right direction, I think, when it comes to the overall look of the game. So without further ado, if you guys enjoy the content here on the channel, make sure you are subscribed to keep up to date with everything Battlefield 6. Going into the future, I'm of course going to be covering everything about the game. Massive thank you to you guys for us hitting 60,000 subscribers. Honestly, your ongoing support really does mean a lot to me. As you guys know, I wouldn't be able to do this without your support, so thank you guys so much for that, and I hope when Battlefield 6 releases that finally the community is going to have a reason to rejoice, so thank you guys so much. Okay, before we delve into the main content of today's video, I just wanted to put it out there that there have been emails going around the subreddit again indicating that there is going to be yet another Battlefield Labs test this Friday. It is the 24th today as the date of recording, so that's going to be on the 27th, and that definitely ties in with DICE doing testing every couple of weeks. So if you've signed up for Battlefield Labs, guys, don't forget to go and check your email, because without failure, every time this happens, I see people on Reddit after the test is finished, and they didn't reserve their spot. So that's the way it works. If you get invited, it looks like you are sent an email, but you have to actually click on the email, click on a button to reserve your spot. If you don't do that, you lose your spot. And not only do you lose out in that particular playtest, but you're going to lose out in all subsequent playtests leading up to the release of the game. Like I say, I always see somebody post on Reddit after the fact that they missed out, and you don't want that to be you. So check your junk folder, check all your email spaces and everything. Make sure that you haven't been invited, or hopefully that you have been. Okay, with that said, let's just delve straight into some of the most interesting things that I noticed from this Chinese leaker here going through the client. So one of the biggest things was that we saw cosmetics for several different sets here. So there are different sub-factions in the game. For example, there is the United Albion, there's the Coyote Squad or the Desert Locusts for the NATO faction, and then for the Pax Armada faction, we have Espada, we have Fireteam Yaga, and then we have Kahina unit. And the descriptions of these units have been data mined before by, I think, Temporal or somebody else, and I've definitely talked about these before, but we've never actually seen what the cosmetics for the soldiers in these subunits look like. Now, clearly, again, and it really annoys me to have to always say this, but, you know, I'm not going to be able to show you them in the video because the video would be taken down for it, but you can check on Twitter, go check the Battlefield subreddit, you'll be able to find them pretty easily, and I'm almost certain a lot of you guys have already seen them, so let's just talk a little bit about them. Okay, so overall impressions here, they look good. They are militaristic, we've got camouflage patterns, armor, ammo pouches, helmets, masks, the kind of things that you would normally expect to see from a centered, grounded military game. And that seems to be the direction that Battlefield are taking here. There's nothing silly or over the top. Bear in mind, though, that if you do go and look at these skins, that they do also look wholly unfinished. So don't judge them on the way that they look now. This is an alpha client we're talking about here. They still have a long way to come, and you can see in some cases, for example, with the Desert Locust subfaction or this unit here, they've got this desert style, like yellow camouflage patterns. Some of the outfits, though, don't have any camo pattern at all, and it looks a little bit weird, and that's simply because those textures have yet to be applied to these cosmetics. So, you know, they're not finished, so don't judge them as a finished thing, but I think the takeaway here that we can really see from this is that things do look like they're going in a good direction. Now, a lot of people are worried that DICE are going to do some sort of a rug pull move here where they have everything grounded and authentic and all looking nice when the game releases, but then a few months down the line, the silly cosmetics, the crossovers with the franchises, those sorts of things start to sneak into the game. At that point, people have already downloaded the game, started playing it, hopefully they're going to like it, and so they feel like they can get away with them. I really think EA would be silly to do that. I know that's what Call of Duty and a lot of other big developers similar to EA do, but to put in all of this work, time, and effort to win back the community's trust, only to do some sort of a rug pull maneuver like that, I think would just be a huge mistake. So this is both me appealing to EA and DICE not to do that, but also saying, I honestly don't think they will, even though it is EA, and you can go ahead and call me naive about that if you think, but it just wouldn't really make a lot of sense. I would absolutely love to see DICE stick to this militaristic theme and, just see, like, how many people are gonna buy skins. I think they would be surprised. I think a lot of us out there who didn't buy skins, let's say in Battlefield 2042, because they were so silly looking, a lot of them, I think if they keep things grounded and authentic, that, on the contrary, would actually encourage a lot of us who have never thought about purchasing cosmetics before to actually do just that. This is untouched ground for EA. We only see them really start experimenting with cosmetics from, I would say, maybe Battlefield 1, but really Battlefield 5 onwards, and both of those games were, of course, set in World War 1 and 2, respectively. And then with, the specialists in Battlefield 2042, they each had their own sort of look and their own vibe. So now, with these sort of nameless, faceless soldiers, this is effectively untrodden ground, both for EA and DICE, but also for the community here. And, I would really like to see them do something similar to World War 3. For anybody who remembers that game, it was kind of like a Battlefield lookalike game. It was pretty good. It came out twice, and it failed twice, unfortunately. But one of the things I really liked about that title is the way that they approach cosmetics. So you could individually customize every part of your soldier's outfit. So your boots, your trousers, your gloves, your helmet, your upper body, what you had on your face, your patches on your arms. Everything could be customized, and that's what I'm really hoping that we get from Battlefield 6 here. Also, we have seen patches data mine, so I have put these in videos before, but there was one about some Finnish squadron, there was another with the Gripen jet on it, and they honestly looked like sort of quite funny and humoristic, but also militaristic in vibe, so I think they're kind of going after that military humor, the same way as they like enjoy painting a shark head on the front of an A10 Warthog. That sort of humor, those are the vibes that I get from it. Now, some other interesting takeaways here outside of the cosmetics, because this guy, he basically goes through not the options in the game, but all of the loadouts. So he goes through all of the weapons, he goes through all of the cosmetics for the soldiers, but he also goes through all of the vehicles. Now, unfortunately, it's a Chinese client, so the names of everything is in Chinese, and therefore it's impossible for me to really say with certainty what all of the various vehicle gadgets and equipment slots do. But one thing I did notice is that there is no scout helicopter there. Now, I think previously we thought there's no scout helicopter because we've only seen a few maps in the game. Two of the maps that we've seen have just had ground armor and infantry, and the third map, Capstone, has had attack helicopters and jets. So I just sort of assumed, oh, maybe these just aren't maps that have scout helicopters on there and it's going to be coming in the future. But the fact that it's not visible in the client at all, and now thinking about it, I've not seen a single data mine from Temporal or anybody about a scout helicopter, and all of the vehicles in the game have pretty much been revealed already, so that would lead me to believe that the Scout Heli is actually not going to be in this game. If it's not going to be in the game at all, I think it's a bit of an oversight. I know a lot of people are going to throw hate towards the Scout Helicopter because the Nightbird in Battlefield 2042 is regarded as probably the most OP vehicle in the game, and I'd have to agree with that, but that doesn't mean it should be omitted from the game altogether. I really think it should be in there, and it's on DICE to balance the vehicle and make it work within the setting, within their maps, and within the overall sandbox nature of the game, right? I think it is one of the cooler vehicles that is in modern military games, so it would be really, really sad if it's not brought in. It could be, of course, that they're keeping that vehicle for one of the upcoming seasons, and once we're on that sort of line of thought, that's also my hope for naval combat, attack boats, that sort of thing. Again, we haven't seen any data mines of any naval vessels in the game. All we've seen is some leaked concept art that has a rib boat in there. And a rib boat is only transportation, so that doesn't really say much. We haven't seen any attack boats, but again, hopefully it's going to come in seasonal content. And I actually think this is not the worst idea ever, because if you think about the vehicles that are released, let's talk about Battlefield 2042 with the various seasons, the vehicles have been cool. Like, I would say the coolest one has definitely been the Draugr. The stealth helicopter was pretty cool as well, but I think especially when it came to the ground vehicles, once they'd added some of the better vehicles, like the cooler vehicles, like the Draugr, like the stealth helicopter, maybe like the Ram, a lot of the others were just kind of like boring. Like the Cav Brawler, it was okay, but it wasn't game-changing, right? Because we already had the MAV. But can you imagine if you've, played Battlefield 6 for a few months, you got bored of it, you put the game down, and then all of a sudden you hear that the new season is bringing in naval combat and they're adding attack boats. If that's not going to draw you back in and make you want to re-download the game and revisit it, I don't know what will. I think that's like a really good selling point for the game, so it wouldn't surprise me at all if that is their plan, to leave it out for the main release and then add it in later on. Needless to say, that would certainly work on me. I think if I wasn't playing it, I'd be wanting to jump in and check that out, but then again, I'm a big Battlefield guy, and most of you are too, so maybe we're the wrong people to ask there, and they should be looking at the casual crowd, but I digress. Guys, let me know your thoughts below. Let me know if you took a look at the cosmetics. Let me know what you think about the direction. Is it what you hoped for? Is it, not serious enough? Maybe you want goofy skins in the game? I don't know. Probably you don't. I mean, I'd like to hope that most of my subscribers have, their heads screwed on properly when it comes to what we want from Battlefield. But you never know. You're welcome to leave your opinion down there as well. Once again, a big thank you for 60,000 subscribers. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button if you want to stay up to date with everything Battlefield going into the future. But otherwise, have a good one, and I'll see you all in the next video.